Vincent, good morning. Yes.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Yes, I'm well. Yes, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. I've sort of been looking forward to this session because I know that you mentioned in the last session that we'll be sort of turning the corner and going into a new kind of therapy space, if you could call it that. And I'm really looking forward to it. I've got some good news.
Yes.
We had the dinner party and I was successful. I managed to hit Farmer Dave's wife in the exact spot.
So Vincent, before we go any further, we need to start the session proper. So I need to ask you whether there's been any harm or self-harm.
Well, like I was saying, there was harm because I did manage to hit her in the forehead, but I mean, it sort of cured her. It sort of changed her neurological pathways, and everyththing's back to normal. I've heard back from Farmer Dave, and everything's good.
So there was harm. So I will have to. I will have to. Oh goodness! I will have to report this.
But the harm was beneficial.
Well, yeah. All right.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, but I thought that was good. I thought it was a good outcome, and it's given me confidence for the Mental Olympics because I feel like I could really excel in that department.
Yes, and she's yes. Oh goodness, this. So it was a clean hit, obviously.
Yes. Well, yes. I just sort of I took the opportunity in between courses, and I just sort of I took instruction from my police friend constable. I sort of dove to the ground, grabbed the gun from under the table, pulled it out, boom.
Right.
You know, there was shock and awe, but then everything's back to normal. Yeah.
So it sounds like a well-executed manoeuvre. Nice. Well done.
Yes.
Well done, you. And,
yes. Yeah. Well, but having said that, I mean, I am sort of full of dread.
This is the kind of thing that Michael, I'll pass this on to Michael. He'll be very well, obviously with the Mental Olympics, that there is a degree of, practice and,
yes.
Rehearsals and just getting mentally prepared for what's going to come up, and he'll be. Yeah. Did you take any videos of this event of you shooting this person in the face?
No, I didn't. I didn't. No, I didn't. I hadn't quite done that. We didn't take any video.
So is it possible that I'm just throwing it out there? Is it possible that it didn't actually happen and that you just simply imagined?
Oh. No, it did happen. Like, we had the dinner party, like we had, Farmer Dave came up from King Island, his partner was there, we invited friends from across the road.
I see. So,
they were icebreakers, so it all happened. It was all there.
So hypothetically, and I'm just, I'm just putting it out there, and if I were to ask your partner,
yes,
the question of, did Vincent actually, shoot Farmer Dave's wife in the face last weekend? Forehead. Yes, the forehead is, yes. If I were to pose that question to your partner directly, do you think she would answer in the affirmative or the negative?
She wouldn't answer.
She just wouldn't answer. Okay, I see.
No.
I see.
Because she's very annoyed at the whole situation. Even though it turned out so well, she just thinks it's ludicrous that it happened in the first place. Okay. And, she doesn't want anything to do with any of my therapy journey, even though she's paying for it.
I understand. Well, look, Vincent, this is all terrific, and it does genuinely feel like you're making terrific progress with all that. Well,
yeah, I feel like I've made progress with the sort of the physical, stuff.
Yes,
but I feel like I've gone backwards with everything else.
So well done on acknowledging the harm, but on the self-harm, no self-harm.
I did do my shoulder when I went for the for the whack. Do you know what I mean? Like it was quite an involved move, and I have had a bit of shoulder pain since it.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So maybe a little bit more. Maybe some stretching. I don't know. Like what have you been to see a physiotherapist? And by the way, and this would be paid for. But I do provide physiotherapy services.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting. Is that on the free option, or is it?
No. But anyway, we'll discuss that in a future session. But here's the thing. But we really should get back to the topic. And,
yes.
And I'm glad that look, we've moved on. And in my studies, what has become apparent to me, and there are these what we refer to as modalities, and we've done Freud, and we've done Jung, and all this sort of analysis, and of course I'm not getting paid, and it doesn't matter, to be honest, because I'm doing it for just for the love. For the joy, really.
Well, you're still studying, so
yes,
students don't get paid.
I'm studying and I'm learning, what I'm learning, and this existential school,
Yes.
Viktor Frankl, and they're called modalities. These schools, they're just different ways of approaching these problems, and what I've sensed. In your case, and I don't want to frame it like, I don't want to say to you have a problem.
Yeah.
Although I've just said it, but I don't want to say that. But we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
But these are modalities, and so the existential, school was founded by this fellow Viktor Frankl, and he actually worked with Sigmund Freud. And then and maybe if you've got some spare time, you can read. He wrote a book called Search for Meaning. He was in terrible times in the Holocaust. He was a Jewish guy.
Right.
And so he said he founded what's become known as the existential school. Of therapy, and it's all got to do with the search for meaning, and it's like what is this all about? And I just feel honestly, I feel that is it's not for me to tell you this, but I feel that is where you're at.
Yes. Okay. So it's sort of more like a sort of what's the point?
Well, I mean that's the essence of existence. It's like the French did it. They're like Rousseau. I mean, there's all these philosophers and
Jean-Paul Sartre. I know Jean-Paul Sartre.
There's all these people who just constantly ask the question while smoking filterless cigarettes. They would just be like, what's the point? I don't know. And no one. And the thing is, they were always asking questions, and none of them provided answers. They were just always asking questions. They were rhetorical, right, which again is a whole other the rhetorics. But we digress. That's not the point. So this existential thing is just kind of. So I've been studying this. And I think this may be something for us to explore.
Well, what do I do in relation to it? Do I just sort of start asking questions?
Well, yeah, and so I've been sort of going back into it, and one thing kind of like I don't know, like we talked about in one of the previous sessions, we talked about Sam and the kind of existential thing with him and being on the couch and not being but I've been reflecting back to an episode in my earlier studies, way before I started studying psychology, and this is back when I was in high school, and I And I was under the tutelage of the high school. He was the English master. His name was Mr. Hill, Gordon Hill, in fact. And he, we were studying Shakespeare because I was in advanced English or something. I don't know, I was in a high school. I was in a high school for the gifted, apparently. The advanced something. I don't know. Yeah. And anyway, so we were studying Shakespeare. We had to do an essay on Shakespeare on Hamlet. And the interesting thing about Hamlet, because he was a princeling. I don't know if you know this. Have you read Hamlet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a princeling, and. So, he didn't make it to be the king, right? But, if he did, my assumption that he would have been King Ham, right?
King Ham.
Well, because he was Hamlet. Well, anyway, it was something that occurred to me back then, so I raised it in class with the with my teacher, and I was strongly rebuked for my observation because it was entirely inappropriate. So I thought, well, okay, I better tone this thing down. But then we had to do this essay on Hamlet, and Hamlet is one of the most existential things. I don't know if you read it, but it opens the opening. The soliloquy, right? The thing, to be or not to be. That is the question, right? And people have tried to interpret it. Is it like a suicide note? Like what's the guy say? To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it's nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or whether to blah 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 blah, whatever. And it's all about, and then, of course, at the end, if you read the whole thing, if you can be bothered, everyone dies in a real macabre thing. And the whole thing just ends up in, basically what the Game of Thrones turned into, the Red Wedding. But it is very, very existential to be or not to be. And so in the very short time I have left, I just wanted to share with you, because I think it's something for you to maybe, think about. But I did, with my English teacher, who was the master of English at my high school, I did hand in an essay on Hamlet. And I opened the essay with this paragraph in which I said, well, Hamlet was a Great Dane dogged by indecision.
Oh. Did that go down well?
he made me read it out to the class in order to shame me.
Well, Michael, look, I think I kind of get where you're going. I'm not sure how that applies to me. I feel like I'm kind of like I'm still on a bit of a high after the dinner party. But I'll think about these things and I don't know where to go now. But I guess that's sort of the point, isn't it?
Well, the thing with the whole existential journey is that it's where it takes you. You see?
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I'll read. In the meantime, I'll read Hamlet. Is there anything else I should do? Should I do anything else, or?
Well, do what you will. I can only quote Shakespeare, and to be honest, I'm lost for words.
Oh gosh. Well, okay. Well, maybe we should end it here, and we can take it up next time when you have found some words.
Let's do that. All right. Well, take care. Stay safe.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, bye.
Bye.